Firstly, you're all very welcome here today. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am the Marketing Manager at the College of Engineering and Architecture in UCD, Dublin, Ireland, and I am your host for today. So today we are discussing the part-time Masters of Engineering Management that's available in UCD. And today we are joined by our Programme Director, Dr. Vincent Hargaden, our graduate, Miriam Grant, and another graduate, Eoin Torrente, who will both share their experiences with you so far. So without further delay, I would like to welcome Dr. Vincent Hargaden. Thanks, Vincent.
Thanks, Katie. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this information session about our Master of Engineering Management programme. So just to give you an overview of what the programme is about and who is it for and what will you learn during the programme. Well, the programme, it's 2 years and it's a part-time master's level programme. And one thing that's pretty unique about it is that it's been running in some form since 1967. And that's something that we're very proud of. To suit the full-time nature of people working in employment, this program, as I said, is designed on a part-time basis, and classes take place on Fridays, either mornings or afternoons, and on Saturday mornings during the academic term. And that equates to 12 teaching weekends per term. So it might seem a bit daunting initially to take on a 2-year master's as well as your professional and personal commitments that you have. But actually, when you break it down over the 4 academic terms, it's 12 teaching weeks for each. So it's less than half a year over each of the 2 years. Who is it for? So our target audience is engineers with 5 or more years industry experience. The nature of the way in which the program is designed is such that people with that level of experience can really get the benefit of the nature of the modules and the content that we're delivering and the way that we've designed the program. People with a wider STEM background, so a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics background, are also eligible to apply. So if you have a qualification, let's say physics, chemistry, computer science, or software engineering, this program is also relevant to you. And it's really for people who have the ambition to progress to senior engineering leadership roles. What will you learn? So one of the key things that you will learn at the end of this program is how to communicate confidently in the language of business. I was talking to one of our current students last week, and I thought he put it very well. He said that people who prove themselves to be good engineers, they're often just thrown into management roles on the assumption that, well, you're a good engineer, so therefore you'll make a good manager. But that's often done without the business or management knowledge to succeed. And this is really where the MEM comes in. We'll teach you over the 2 years how to communicate in the language of business in that technical environment. So things like finance, human resources, marketing, and strategy. You'll develop strong decision-making skills, particularly making analytically driven, data-driven decisions. We focus a lot on the people side, so leading and managing people, so you'll understand how to lead employees effectively. And then that longer term perspective, so how you develop strategic thinking skills. How will you learn? So really there's probably 4 main areas in which you're going to learn during this program. Firstly, from the lecturers. And the lecturers on this program come from a range of backgrounds. We have colleagues from the engineering school, and we have colleagues from the Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School. And we also have a number of senior industry-based lecturers. So they bring the real world, real-time application to the classroom. You'll also learn from your classmates, from your peers. And you'll see in a few minutes the wide range of backgrounds and industries and companies from which the participants on this program come from. So we have multiple sectors, multiple company types. So you're going to learn from those in a formal and an informal manner. You'll also learn through active learning. So we do a lot of industry-based assignments, case studies, business simulations. And then the action learning. because you're going to be continuing in employment and taking this program over 2 years, it will allow you to apply your new knowledge quickly. Just a couple of frequently asked questions in this part of the session. There is a high proportion of continuous assessment, a mix of group and individual. So over the 2 years, there's relatively few final exams. And also, you don't have to do a thesis. The applied research project is an option in year 2. So you can choose to do the project and drop 4 taught modules, or you can choose not to do the project and just continue with all the taught modules that are on the program structure. So the program is designed around 5 main themes. So the basis of the program when it was founded was very much around the engineering operations, both in manufacturing and services. So you'll do modules like project management, quality management, so Lean Six Sigma, operations management, business system design. So that's around process design, process mapping. You learn about people. So how do you manage and lead people? So modules such as behavior, leadership and change, human resources and employee relations, negotiations, technical communications. And obviously with the significant emphasis on big data, data analytics, we cover the analytics aspect in 2 main modules in data analytics and decision analysis. And then we've got a group of business or management themed modules. So cost analysis, marketing, finance, and economics. And then looking at how do you develop strategic thinking in terms of operations strategy, design innovation, strategic management, and corporate entrepreneurship. So then to give you a flavor of how the program is structured across the 4 academic terms. So we have autumn, spring in year 1 and autumn and spring in year 2. It's also important to note that during the summer period between year 1 and year 2, there's no academic activity. So when you finish year 1 in mid-May, you don't have anything until year 2 starts in September. So you'll see there how the modules are structured. In each of the autumn terms, you take 4 modules. Each of the spring terms, you take 5 modules. So there's 18 modules in total. They're each worth 5 credits. So it's a 90 credit level 9 masters. And as you see there at the bottom of the diagram, the applied research project is optional in year 2. So what you do, if you want to take the project, you drop 2 modules in autumn and you drop 2 modules in spring. And the research project is 2 terms long. So it's a year-long activity. I think this slide gives you a flavor of the wide variety of industries, sectors, companies from which the program participants have come over the last number of years. And really, it breaks down into 3 major categories. We have participants coming from the manufacturing sector. And that obviously encompasses anything from light engineering to medtech, medical devices, pharmaceuticals, electronics, ICT, and so on. We have another group who are based in engineering services. So let's say engineering design, consultancy type firms. And then we have another group who would be based in the semi-state or the public sector. So whether that's companies like Irish Water, local authorities, the Defence Forces, Commission for Energy Regulation, and so on. And roughly we'd have about 1/3 coming from manufacturing, 1/3 coming from engineering services, and 1/3 coming from the semi-state public sector. So you get quite a broad mix of participants, and that's really valuable in terms of the peer-to-peer learning in the program. And then just to give you some practical details about the forthcoming academic year, so starting in September 2021. So the autumn term will commence on Friday the 10th of September with an introduction and orientation session. And then the teaching term is the 17th of September to the 4th of December. And that's 12 weeks, but we actually only do 11 because the October weekend has no classes. And then the spring term, again, will start on the 14th of January with leadership and personal development workshops. So we call that kind of week 0. And then weeks 1 to 12 will be the 21st of January to the 23rd of April. And that's slightly longer than 12 calendar weeks. The reason being there's a 2-week study break that UCD has university-wide in mid-March, and you can see the dates there. And then also Easter weekend, whenever that falls, next year it's the 15th and 16th of April, there's no classes. So again, that's 11 teaching weeks, plus the leadership week is 12 weeks. In terms of the delivery, so what we are rolling out for this coming academic year is a hybrid delivery, and that's based on some focus groups with graduates and potential applicants. So what we're doing is we're having 5 Fridays per term that are on campus, and these are full day Fridays. And that's week 0, which is either the orientation or the leadership and professional development workshops. And then teaching weeks 1, 4, 8, and 12. And then the intervening weeks, they will be online. They will be live online classes, and obviously those classes will be recorded as well and made available. And they're scheduled on Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings. So they will be weeks 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11. There's 8 weeks listed there, but one of those will drop out each term. So the October weekend is, for instance, is week 6. The Easter weekend is week 11. And then just to give you a provisional schedule for next September. So the way the timetable will work. So for the 5 on-campus Fridays, so it's a full day, starting at 9. So each of the lectures, and they won't be just kind of lectures, they'll be workshops, interactive sessions. They're an hour and 45 long, so you'll do from 9 to 10:45 technical communications, and then have a break. You do operations management, have lunch break, human resource management, and then in the autumn term finish with data analytics. Because you only do 4 modules in autumn, you'll finish at 17:45, 5:45 on Fridays. In the spring terms, you do 5 modules. So we use the 7 to 8:45 slot for that 5th module on campus on Fridays. So that's for 5 Fridays over the 12 weeks. And then the online weeks, Friday afternoon and Saturday. So Friday, you'll start at 4 p.m. in autumn with human resources and operations. And then Saturday, all 4 semesters is 9 to 12:45. In the spring terms, because we've got a 5th module, we'll start at 2 o'clock on Fridays. Okay, so that's just a quick overview about the MEM program in terms of who it's for, the nature, its content, and also some of the practical information for next September. So I'll hand back to Katie, and Katie's going to introduce our 2 graduates, and they're going to share their experience with you of the program.
Thanks, Vincent. It was great to get such a comprehensive overview of the part-time masters. So next, I'd like to introduce Miriam Grant. Miriam is a 2019 graduate of the Masters of Engineering Management to share her experience. Thanks, Miriam.
Hi, thanks, Katie. So hi everyone. My name is Miriam Grant, and I work in Irish Water. And I worked there when I started the MEM course back in 2017. So I suppose I graduated in 2019. A lot's changed since then. And it feels like a lifetime ago, but I'm really just going to go through, I suppose, my experience and, how I feel like it's advanced me in my career so far. I suppose one of the key reasons that I decided to do the course, it was really to get the confidence, knowledge and experience that I felt I needed to start advancing my career into management and leadership within my own organisation. And ultimately, I wanted to get into project management. So when I did my research, I felt like the MEM course was, the right one for me. So Vincent would have touched there on a lot of the modules that were covered as part of the course. And my own kind of personal experience, I felt like there was a really good variation of topics covered. A lot of the modules are kind of what you expect when you think of engineering management. And that's things like, operations and quality management, project management. But then there was a lot of other subjects that as a young engineer, I was never exposed to. And these were things like organizational behavior, technical communications, and strategic management. And these are the subjects that I suppose I never knew I needed. And these are the ones that I really feel like, I've gotten such valuable skills, particularly for my more recent role in the organization. So I'll touch on that in a little bit. Another interesting aspect that Vincent touched on, for me anyway, was the structure of the class itself. And I suppose this might change a little now that things are gone virtual, but I suppose that offers a lot more flexibility as well. But at the time, when I was doing it, we were a class of 13 people, all from different industries and with varied experience. So there was a huge learning experience from each other and how we could take our learnings in class and apply that into our own working experience. And what I found is that, there would have been at least one person who was in a similar or the same industry as yourself. So it was so relatable, and a really great way to learn. Vincent touched on this as well, but I remember a lot of the modules had, external lecturers that were working in the industry as well. And that would have led to great discussion between the class and lecturer. And I suppose it really emphasised how you can take those learnings and use them practically in your own workplace. So it became a really good, close, supportive network. And it really opened, discussions across the group. And I think that's something that is actually quite unique in the MEM course. And it's something that I really, really valued at the time. In terms, I suppose, of managing, studying with, your full-time work, I suppose you have to understand that you need to dedicate time to it, particularly if you want to get the value out of it. But it's all around setting up your own routines. I find that working in my office after the workday worked some days. I'd start an assignment or start some study. And I also liked working straight after the class days. So on Friday nights or Saturday afternoons, I'd head to the library and do a few hours then. But it's really all just about doing what works for you. There was a good bit of group work. And as I was saying, our class got quite close. You understand everyone has a full-time job. So there's going to be some times where you have a week where you're slammed in work and, someone on your team will happily, help you out that week. So it just has to be open conversations and work that out with each other. But overall, if you manage your time well, it's no bother to you. And I actually realized how much time I actually wasted, on a normal day. So an added bonus there was, I suppose, learning how to work more efficiently and effectively to get different tasks done. So finally, I suppose overall, I really enjoyed my time doing the MEM course, and I met great people along the way, and the class is still fairly close. When I started, I was fairly junior. I was doing a technical role in Irish Water, just getting the job done, getting the work done. And in, I suppose, the last 2 months of the MEM course, I would have applied for a more senior position in Irish Water, which I got. So now I'm managing a team of about 10 technical experts, and we're delivering Ireland's first National Water Resources Plan. That's really a plan just all about, I suppose, delivering a safe, secure drinking water supply, and the investment we'll need to do that over the next 25 years. And it's all about delivering sustainable supplies and safeguarding the environment. So in the last 2 months, we published the plan, but the last year and a half, I've had a huge amount of stakeholder engagement, and I've been involved in that. And really, I don't think I would have been able to drive the delivery of the plan or partake in as much stakeholder engagement as I have if I hadn't have done the MEM course. And I think it really set me up with the skills I needed and the confidence to get the job done. So yeah, I'd 100% recommend this to anyone who's thinking about getting into management, or if you're already in management. There's so many aspects to learn from, and it really has helped me in my career to date. So that's really it. Katie, I'll hand back to you.
Thanks, Miriam. Really interesting experience that you've had, and congratulations on the new role within Irish Water as well. That's wonderful. Next, I'd like to introduce Eoin Torrente. Eoin is a 2014 graduate of the Masters in Engineering Management. Thanks, Eoin.
Hi everybody, how are you? My name is Eoin Torrente, and thanks for the introduction, Katie. Yeah, I'd just like to say this course was an excellent course for me. I decided to go back to college after about 10 years in 2012. The reason being, I had an awful lot of experience in projects and project management, and my qualifications were from a trade background originally. But the real lacking I had was sort of I suppose, a professional qualification in management. So the MEM course really ticked all the boxes for me when I looked at it. And I went in and met Vincent and the team at the time and had a chat about going for the course. And thankfully, I was able to qualify for it, so it was great. I must admit, I found it really challenging in the first few months, and kind of wondered at the time, was this the right course for me, and was I a bit out of my depth? But the professional teachers, the part-time teachers, and the academic were fantastic in supporting the development and helping you get through the course. It wasn't a case of just giving you the information, having the interaction with the modules, and away you go. They helped you through it, they guided you through it, and of course you had to do the work as well yourself. So it was really new to me at the time, and really interesting because I was very much interested in getting to the business management side of how we do things. So the modules were great, the class were great. We are still in contact all these years later. The amazing thing is what it does for your network. Even only 2 days ago, I was talking to 2 or 3 guys who were in my class at the time, who are now in managerial positions with various pharmaceuticals and hospital facilities. And it's a great networking opportunity for me personally, because it allows me to develop with them and offer them services. We have a unique friendship before we start talking about business, and we've applied that friendship, and then we started going into the business path. So it's been really, really good. And I suppose a little bit about the career path I took. As I said, I started out as an apprentice, went back at night time quite a lot for various different courses, and found it challenging sometimes to do the courses at night between working day, 8 to 10 hours days, and then going and doing a night course. So it was a bit hard. So the MEM course really suited, because it was a Friday afternoon from about 2 o'clock till 7 o'clock, and then a Saturday morning. So for my lifestyle, it worked really well. It was a good work-life balance with a very young family and a very supportive wife. But we managed to balance everything around between my day job, my time with the family, and also the time to actually do the course and do the modules. Because there's a level of effort you have to put in to do the research and do your assignments. And as Vincent alluded to, they're continual, which is great because you get them out of the way as you go, rather than having some big work ethic to deliver at the end of a year or end of a term. So I found that part really, really beneficial. What it did allow me to do was I'd worked for Mercury Engineering, and once I'd completed the course, it provided me with the opportunity to meet with the management team and go for a director of operations role within Ireland, and which eventually led me to a role in the UK. So it gave me the pathway to an international career experience, which is great. And I took it and jumped, and I went to London for, I think it was maybe 3.5 years. I ran our London office, which was fantastic. A lot of challenges there. The course really helped from the behavioural to understand the culture, because obviously there's slight differences with the UK to the way we do business, but the general is good, but the behaviour aspect was very good. Project management, team management, stakeholder management, strategy, really were deployed very usefully from what I'd learned on the course. So it was a fantastic time. I was dealing with the CEO and the CEO of our company. I was dealing with certain people of various clients in that concept too, and learning new ways and means of doing business. Part of our work in London then also took us into Europe, doing projects and data centers in Europe, which was great. Again, they were new experiences, new cultures, new ways and means, all about the process, how to execute the project, learning the strategy of the businesses you're dealing with to try and line our business strategy up with those companies. So really good time. And it led me to come back to Ireland and then go to the USA for a period as well to support project work and development with Jacobs Engineering and Intel, which was really great experience. And again, I applied a lot of the knowledge and the ways and means, and just how to deal with people, and how to sort of, if I say it like this, how to manage up, down, and sideways, because that's the experience I had in a lot of situations. But again, the basis of the course, the understanding of how you interact with people, and from learning with the team and the course, I think there was 14 in our class too, and none of us knew each other day one. We all came from different backgrounds. We had some common themes. There was a variety of ages as well, so we had very mixed life experience in the class. So it was great. And some of the interactions on our Saturday morning discussions were fantastic, particularly the strategy one always stood out, and the behavioural. They were very, very interesting courses, and the topics and debates on the Saturday mornings were inspiring in some ways. So we really enjoyed it. And since that, I've moved on. I was with Mercury for 29 years. So I moved on from Mercury to another company in our industry, CJK Engineering. And I'm now an owner in that company, working as operations director, but more as a COO in a way. So the aim here again is to apply what my skill sets are, what I've learned, and grow the business and put in operational procedures. We're currently doing our strategy and a business plan. Again, these are things I'd never would envisage being able to do, but I had the skill sets and the knowledge from the course, which I've applied through those several years since I did the course. So it was a great foundation for what I'm doing now, and I really actually appreciate it more because I can really understand some of the hard decisions and some of the fluffy decisions, if I use those terms. Again, as I would say to anyone, it's a really good course. I've recommended to an awful lot of people in Mercury. I've recommended to an awful lot of people here who are considering their options for further development. Our company at the moment is all about developing our team, and we want to make sure the guys go for the right course, not just taking something for the sake of it. One or two of the individuals have asked me about this course because they're aware I've done it, and I've highly recommended it to them. But I've also made them aware there's a lot of commitment in it and a lot of effort from them. UCD and Vincent and his team will provide the pathway, which is fantastic, and the support is there. But each and every one of us has to put our own bit in. But you know, if you're willing to do that and commit to that, you'll gain greatly from it. I believe the opportunities you can obtain from having this course are fantastic, and a lot of people have understood. Firstly, when they see the UCD badge, then they talk into what is the MEM, and you explain a bit more to them, and they get it what it is, and they really see the value of it. So from someone moving from a technical side to a more understanding of managerial, it's a great platform. I personally didn't want to do another technical course when I decided to do this. So again, it ticked the managerial business way and people managerial way for me to develop further. So I suppose in summary, from my point of view, I'd highly recommend it. I think you need to be very careful with your work-life balance. If you're working and doing this at the same time, time management is essential. Map out your plan for the year. Give yourself the time to obviously do your day job, but obviously facilitate the course requirements and commit to it, and you'll really benefit from it. I think it's a great platform. And again, if you want to go on and develop, or you have the opportunity to develop in your career now, it's the thing you should do, because it certainly gives people at the senior positions in the table a more awareness of you and your commitment. So yes, highly recommend it. Well worth doing. 2 years flies by. It may sound long, but it doesn't. It really flies by. It's particularly once you hit the Christmas every year. I found the second half of the year flew into the summer, and before you know it, you had achieved your reward, and we're attending the presentation with Vincent and the team at UCD. So yeah, it was great. Highly recommended. Thanks.
Thanks, Eamon. That was excellent summary and really interesting to hear. I think from both Miriam and Eamon, a couple of things struck me. One, when you're undertaking this course, it's really important to give a bit of organization consideration, how you're going to organize your time and create the space to give the masters your dedication, and that both of you have had excellent career trajectories since undertaking this course, and also then the network that you've developed and maintained seems to have stood you well, and you're still in contact with your classmates up to this point. So we have a couple of questions coming in. So first one to yourself, Vincent. Will this course be accepted by Engineers Ireland for chartered status?
Yeah, so it's one of the, so Engineers Ireland have a number of pathways to chartership for master's level qualifications. So this particular course satisfies one of the pathways. I think it might be pathway C or D, it's called, as satisfying the academic requirements to pursue chartership.
Excellent. Someone's also asking, Vincent, if they're only able to physically attend 50 to 60% of the classes, would it be acceptable if they attended the remainder online?
That's probably a difficult one, and maybe get Eamon or Miriam to comment on it as well. I think if you know straight away, even before we start the program, that you're only going to get to half the face-to-face delivery, that you're going to miss out on a huge amount of the in-person activity and the informal learning that happens. So yes, you'll get the slides, or you'll be able to read the book or the readings, but that's not really what this course is about. It's not just about the faculty and the lecturers imparting their wisdom to you. It's really about, you know, the knowledge of the participants and the lecturers kind of coming together, and it's the informal peer-to-peer. You know, realistically, I suppose under normal circumstances, people will have business travel, or usually, you know, coming up to the end of a month or the end of a quarter, there's some sort of crisis in work. They usually happen, as you know, on Friday. Crisis usually happen in industry on Friday afternoons, or, you know, end of quarter, end of month. So you mightn't make the, you know, a Friday afternoon class, but come in late and be there for Saturday. And similarly, you might have the odd business trip, if we get back to that situation, where you might, you know, land back in Dublin on Friday afternoon and, you know, miss the first class. So, you know, long answer, but I would suggest that if you know now that you're only going to be able to attend half the classes, it's probably not the program for you. You're going to miss out on a huge amount. I don't know whether Eamon or Miriam might have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would second that. I really think the whole point of the course is being there. They're short modules in the context of the work you have to do overall. But what you gauge in there, particularly from the experience of the class, not just the lecturers you're implying, Vincent, was fantastic. I mean, I made every effort to always make sure I was there, and I was on a difficult project at the time, which was an Intel project, and the demands on us were savage during the week. But, you know, you just had to make that cutoff and get to the class, and I don't regret it. I think it was the best thing to do. And as I said, half the time it wasn't about the knowledge, it was about the discussion of the knowledge, which was really inspiring.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. It's that informal learning that I think is the biggest benefit. So yeah.
Thanks for that. A question that either Eamon or Miriam could answer. Someone's asking, did your employer support you with time off for this program?
Yeah, I can go first there. Like, I was 100% back to it. So, you know, I would have had to finish work early on Fridays, but as long as I was getting, you know, my work done throughout the year, there was no bother. And so, yeah, I felt 100% supported. I suppose you're doing it as well for the good of your company to progress there. And, you know, I have a serious loyalty now as well that I've done this, and it's brought me to where I am. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd second what Miriam is saying there. No problem. The Friday afternoons were agreed in advance. Study leave was given as well, which was great. There was no question about funding or payments or anything like that. That was all put through once you applied for the process. And even, dare I say it, when I was under a bit of pressure and I was scraping to the line of doing an assignment and I was in work, I was allowed drift into a meeting room or a breakout room and complete the assignment without any issue. And there was one or two of those moments.
Vincent, just on getting in assignments, someone's asking, how is this master's program assessed? I think you touched upon that, but maybe a little bit more detail. Sorry, you're just on mute.
Yeah, so there's 18 modules in total, and each module is a standalone 5 credit. Most of the modules will have some aspect of a individual or a group report, or one or two. And they're obviously graded during the semester. Probably, I would say at this stage, maybe a quarter of the modules at most have final exams. But even where they do have a final exam, that exam might only be worth maybe 50% at most. So we're very conscious of the, I suppose, the nature of the people and the backgrounds of the people taking the program. And they want the information, but they want to know how to apply it. So a lot of the assignments are based around the application of the knowledge to, a real world industry example, or using case studies from other industries. And then we get a general discussion on how that might apply in the water industry as opposed to the building services industry.
Very good. And someone's just asking as well, they're considering this program versus an MBA. What are the key differences, or why would they choose this one over something like an MBA?
Yeah, maybe I'll go first. I don't know whether Eamon or Miriam can want to answer that as well. Well, I suppose one of the features of this program is that the participants all have a technical background, and they're really committed to staying in the general engineering technology sector. But they're looking for the knowledge and the business knowledge to build on that, so that they can become good managers and leaders in engineering companies. MBA programs tend to be more diverse. So you might have a few engineers in it, but there might be some accountants and marketing people and strategy people and so on. So it's quite a diverse group. So maybe people who choose the MEM feel that maybe their background gets diluted to a certain extent, whereas there's kind of almost a common core within the MEM that it's all engineer technical background, but we want to become senior leaders in the technical sector in our companies in Ireland or in global companies.
Yeah, just to add to that, Vincent, I felt that way about it. I did obviously look at both, but to me the MEM just linked more with my sort of career path to that date and what I'd done, and it felt like it just related a bit more to where I was in the engineering field, trying to jump into more managerial elements, but still I could use a lot of my experience, my life experience at that point from work, and apply it very quickly to this course. It was probably the dominant factor for me for choosing it.
Thanks, Eamon. Miriam, do you have any comment on that, or was it a consideration for you, or was it always the MEM?
No, it was the exact same, really. I wanted to kind of stay in technical working area, and just when I kind of did my research, I thought MEM suited me best. And I feel like that's the unique aspect of it. You cover all of the business and management aspects, but you get that technical experience from other people in the course as well.
Brilliant, thanks. Well, we've reached the end of our session today. We've ran out of time now. All that's left for me to say is thank you very much to Vincent, Eamon, Miriam, and my colleague Laura.